Hey, what's up guys? My name's Kyle with RR Buildings.
Welcome back to the channel where we're building the RR headquarters.
My name is Kyle Stumpenhorst. I'm the owner of RR Buildings, and we're based out of Northern Illinois, and we specialize in custom post frame structures. The area that we live in, it's typically farm ground, so lots of farm communities, not really any major metropolitan areas. I mean, we're 2 hours away from Chicago, which is the biggest, when people say you're from Illinois, that means they think you live in Chicago, but really couldn't be further from the truth. It's very rural, a lot of family, small community atmosphere, and I love it. My wife is a principal. We got together in high school, so we're high school sweethearts. We got 2 beautiful kids. My son is 16. He's gonna be a senior next year. And then my daughter's 13. She's gonna be going into high school. I'm pretty much happy as I could ever be. I think what's crazy about living in a small community and having such a large social media presence is that when you go around, I think that they don't want to recognize that I have that. So I'm just Kyle. My wife is a principal in the town, so we're part of the community. We're pretty threaded into that community, and it's no big deal that I have a lot of followers on the internet. I think the biggest thing is just that people in this community can hire us with confidence and knowing that we do quality work because we've shared it. So I think that's really the benefit.
Let's go. Good enough.
Whenever you see a guy in construction, you don't usually think about education, right? It's usually thought or looked down upon to a degree, or at least it wasn't my age when I was growing up. And I went straight to college because I was like, I'm not gonna do a trade. I'm gonna go to a college, I'm gonna get a good desk job. I did that. I was valedictorian of my high school. I got a computer science degree when I went to college, and I went right into that line of work, was making good money out of college, but I hated it. I hated being in an office. I hated driving to the same office location every day. There was nothing good about it other than the paycheck. And that didn't last for me. I knew that I was not gonna be able to do that for 30 years. So, by happenstance, me and my wife got married. We bought a farmhouse that was part of her family farm, and it was in total disarray. It needed to be remodeled. I didn't know anything about remodeling. My dad had done it growing up, so I was like, Dad, what do you think? Can we do this? Can you help me? And it was way more than I probably should have taken on, but it taught me, from the ground up, all the different parts of a home, what to do, and I just fell in love with it. And that's when RR was born. It was like, I can do this work. I enjoy this work. I get to make something with my hands, and people will pay me for it. People started saying, hey, I see you're remodeling your house. Can you do something for me? And so they're like, oh, you want to do a deck for me? And it just kind of grew. And I remember telling my wife, she was pregnant with my son, and I said, hey, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna start being a contractor after going through 4 years of college. And everybody was like, my mother-in-law, everybody's like, what? No way. As that evolved, I got really into post frames, did my first post frame, fell in love. For the last 12 years, we've been really focusing and just keep going down this hole to niche ourselves into these custom post frame structures that, like you see behind me now. It's something that you see a lot of in the area, post frames, but they're getting more popular as these high-end structures, homes, barn dominiums. You've probably seen or heard them. I'll give you all the advice in the world on how I have found success managing my time, but that doesn't mean I'm perfect at doing it. I mean, I'm very easily distracted. I definitely have some level of ADHD. I've had it my whole life. And I also think that's what gives me my superpower. It's not that hard if you can really focus in on being present in whatever you're doing. The problem is people get so sidetracked. It's like you're doing one thing, but you're on your phone watching TikToks. No, it's like when you're working, you gotta do that. When you're with your kids, you gotta do that. When you're spending time with your wife, that's where your focus has to be. And if you can do that, that's when you really get the real work-life balance. But knowing what I need to do to be more efficient with my time, have better work-life balance, we're all just, if you're not learning, you're dying. So I'm just always trying to get better. In this industry, you can look at the old timers, the guys that are on their way out, and they're building still today probably how they built 20, 30 years ago. There's not been a whole lot of technology that they've brought into their builds, but the younger generation, we've had so much growth and change in the industry, whether that's tools, technology, materials, social media, the ability to put your work out there, get judged instantaneously. It makes us all so much better, more efficient, and honestly, the goal is to bring better quality to your customer, whether that's, you know, through material use, through your time and labor and the cost. And I think that all of those things combined, you know, the technology that we have at our fingertips has allowed me personally to do that in my job.
Good job. That's really clean.
Every once in a while.
If I'm not excited to do what I'm doing, if I'm not excited to come out here and build, I won't do it. I will not keep doing it because it's my job, because I'm making money, because people want me to do it. I quit a high-paying job because I wasn't excited, because I didn't have the passion. So for me, you know, tomorrow my passion might be totally different, but right now it's being able to take this pile of materials that has shown up at the job site yesterday and come out today and turn it into something that I can walk away from at the end of that day and say, we did that. That's what we built. And as long as that's still driving me and making me excited and passionate, like, I'll continue to do this job. But when I lose it, I don't want to be out here just swinging a hammer to swing a hammer. As I'm getting older, I think about where this whole thing's going. You know, what is RR Buildings going to be? Am I going to leave it behind? Is my son going to take it over? Am I going to give it to Greg? And to be honest, I don't really care. I actually don't care what happens to it, because for me, my biggest goal right now is to try to leave all of my information that I've learned over the years out there on the internet. I have a great platform to be able to share everything that I've learned. And when I'm done, I could pack it up and RR could go away, because the content is there, and the education and the ability for people to watch a video that's an hour long and hopefully pick up a trick. To me, that's my legacy. If my kid doesn't want to do it, if my daughter doesn't want to do it, that's okay. I want them to forge their own path. But for me, this has kind of been my thing, you know. What have I learned? When I started, I had nothing. There was no education. There was no, trade schools were like not a thing. They got rid of them all. It was go to college. So I had nothing. Now, you can go out and watch a video. You can learn from somebody else's mistakes. You can learn, you know, the best materials, the best processes, and that's what I'm trying to be a part of. Make content that's something that somebody in 10 years could still watch and learn something from.